Since 1997, Down East Off-Road has specialized in Jeep, truck, and SUV upfitting, from lift kits and tire and wheel packages to V8 engine swaps and police and public safety installations. We transform your ride. Down East Off-Road takes great pride in customized conversions, crafting beautiful, functional, and engaging work that delights and delivers results. Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun wants to be your go-to destination for top-shelf guns and finely crafted jewelry. Check out their large selection of handguns and rifles, as well as a large collection of mobile and home electronic devices. And don't forget their large collection of jewelry and watches, with a great staff to help you out. So visit them at 2522 Sunset Avenue in Rocky Mount, or call them at 252-443-1668. That's Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun on Sunset Avenue, across from Walgreens.
Greenville Marine and Sports Center is your regional boat, motor, and trailer dealer with top industry models and parts. Enjoy North Carolina fishing with a new or used boat and take advantage of closeout pricing and great financing rates. And visit our expanded outdoor shop offering the best selection of fishing equipment, hunting gear, outdoor clothing, and much more. Visit Greenville Marine and Sports Center to make the most of your fishing and outdoor adventure.
Experience outdoor underwater adventure with Pamlico Divers. From spearfishing to fossil and wreck hunting, the thrill of Carolina diving brings underwater beauty, life, and history to your adventure. Whether you're just beginning or an avid diver, Pamlico Divers has the gear and expertise to make your dive a great adventure year-round. It's our passion and can be yours too. Prepare for your Carolina underwater adventure with the gear and expertise of Pamlico Divers.
Welcome to Tarheel Outdoors. I'm Mickey Wilson with Fun Time Shooting, retired law enforcement officer for 35 years. Today's show is going to be about firearm safety, the handling of firearms, what to expect about handling firearms, and it's very crucial, very important about the safety and keeping these guns well protected away from children and people don't have knowledge of firearms.
This is Tarheel Outdoors, presented by Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun and other great sponsors.
Okay, one of the first things people need to know about firearm safety is you need to treat every gun as it's loaded. If somebody hands you a weapon, you need to automatically check it immediately. I've seen over the years that people come up, we've had even have them come up to the sheriff's office, I'm retired law enforcement, and they've come up to the office with loaded guns. We'd be serving ex partes, they bring guns in, they'd be loaded. They'd bring them in, we pick them up and for different reasons. The firearm's a lot of times loaded, and they'll tell you point blank, no, the firearm's empty. A lot of people just don't know how to check the firearm to make sure it's unloaded. But if somebody hands you one, because the unloaded gun is what's always killing people, they say, well, you know, the gun was unloaded. When I talk to children, the first thing I do is I shoot a cantaloupe or watermelon, and you watch it explode, and I tell them, go put it back together. And they say, well, we can't do that, Mr. Wilson. We can't put it. I said, no, and you can't put your best friend's head back together neither once it's accident. I know you're sorry and stuff like that, but it's very, very important when you pick that gun up. It's just like if you see one laying around. This is a problem with children. The curiosity with children just gets them so bad. They want to pick something up, or if they find a gun that's been laying down, the first thing they want to do is pick it up and look at it. And most people on the intent, when they pick the gun up, they will put their finger in the trigger housing. We have this with people that just starting to shoot. We have this with veterans. When they're working the slide back on a semi-automatic, they'll put the finger in the trigger. We have accidental discharges going off in front. So it's just crucial to know how to make that weapon safe and to educate your children that it's not a fascination and the proper way to handle the gun and all. And I tell everybody in my concealed carry classes, the gun's not always the answer. You got other alternatives, and but the gun is a very important thing to our culture and our life, but it needs to be used properly, and you need to be properly trained with it. So a lot of the accidents don't happen. That does happen. Like the NRA talks about, you need to always know what your backstop is. After that's after you've checked your gun. You need to know what that backstop is. Is where you're shooting, is there a mound of dirt? Or if you're hunting, when you shoot that animal, is there somewhere that's going to stop that bullet, or is it going to ricochet, go into somebody's house? We've had homes hit as far as a half a mile to a mile away with high-powered rifles. That's why in Wilson County you got to be elevated 8 foot off the ground to discharge a high-powered rifle when you're hunting, because it's so well populated now. And it's so, a lot of people turn their children loose at a very young age right now in a tree stand. Well, I've seen adults get nervous enough when an animal comes out, much less putting a 10, 11-year-old child in a stand by himself with a high-powered rifle. Anything can happen. And, there again, I don't think they understand what the range on a lot of these weapons are, what they'll do. One of my biggest things about going back to the firearm safety is all the video games that they're playing now. I walked in a couple's home the other day, and the child was playing one, and he called me back there to look at it, and he was shooting police officers. He was robbing a bank and going stealing a car. And that's what the video was about. And he thought that was the neatest thing in the world, because he'd shot the officers and got away with it and just robbed the bank and stole the car. Well, if you play that enough, then it comes into real life. What do you think? If I actually do this here, you can't go back and hit the reset button. And that's been a real problem, I think, in this country with the violence. I know everybody wants to blame it on the guns, but there's other things that goes back. As home discipline has got a lot to do with it. I've got 2 daughters that was brought up in a house where there was always a gun. Me being law enforcement for 35 years, there was a presence of a firearm always. But my children knew if they picked them up what was going to happen. It won't know, just know that it was discipline. I grew up in a house with my grandparents that there was a gun in every room of the house, but you knew then if you touched one of them what was going to happen, even though you had your own gun. It was very, very important that you did not touch one. And that goes back to educating the people on the public of firearm safety. We've got so many people now that are scared to death. People are literally scared to death. Over 60% of my clientele right now are women, because they fear for their life, they feel like they're vulnerable, so therefore they're taking concealed carry classes, they're taking basic firearms. Just today I've had 3 different calls. Right before y'all got here today, I had a lady call. She wants to come and learn about firearm safety. The one thing I will say about women, and men's going to really dislike this here, they will come and practice, they take it more serious, and they listen, because they don't have bad habits to break. A lot of times you get the men, they know everything. A lot of the women, they take it seriously. Women are very competitive anyway. So they know they've got children around. So, that you've got to educate yourself on that. And I tell them all before they come, you need to come and take a class first, and you need to be educated on that firearm safety. If you're going to leave guns out in the house, because if you can't immediately get to it, I tell a lot of them in my class, the gun is useless. If you got a home invasion, you got 1 to 3 seconds to put your hand on it, and that's it. But they make so many safes now. Just like these here, different companies make them. Stack-On makes them, Hornady makes them. All different companies make them. They run anywhere from $35 to $40 up to $350. They've got a new one now that you can wear a bracelet, just want it and open it. That's very, very, and they're all secured. You bolt them down so a child cannot get into them. They've got battery backups to them. And that's very, very important. Just like you have safes you can put in your house, a big gun safes. But these here are ones that you can mount under beds, you can mount them in closets, you can put them in by the couch, you can bolt it to something where immediately you can get to, but your child cannot pick it up, or the child coming in. And let me say this here, under the state of North Carolina, they've passed a law now that you are responsible for anyone inside your house, and a minor being anybody under the age of 18. So it don't matter if your grandkids are there, It don't matter if the neighbor kids are there and there's a gun available that they can go and they can pick it up, then you're going to be in violation. You're going to be charged with a misdemeanor because you knowingly knew they had access to that firearm. And that's very, very important. Now, you can leave that gun for your child under the age of 18 for home protection. And there is a lot of times there's been children 13, 14 years old that have used firearms in self-defense to stop home invasions and stuff like that. But have you educated the child? How much do you trust that child? Is there other children constantly in and out of the house? This is a thing that we see as a fascination, as I said earlier, with guns. Is they come in, they see something, the first thing they want to do is go put their hands on it immediately. Well, your child being there all the time, it's not a fascination. They know where the gun is. They know it's there for home protection. Maybe they hunt. They've seen what it actually really does in real life. So that's very, very important. But if you do leave it out, and the neighbor's kid is over visiting, and he picks it up, he goes robs the store, he accidentally shoots himself, shoots somebody then you're going to be held reliable. Not only is the criminal suit, but the civil suits that's going to come from it. A lot of times it's unbearable. Plus the loss of a family or loss of a loved one. If nobody's ever seen someone die in front of them like that from a gunshot, but it's very, very emotional, and I tell everybody in my class to try to be prepared for that. But it's hard to brace people for that. But there we go again, a lot of people just don't understand the nomenclatures of these guns, about the safeties, the locks. Anytime that you buy a gun, it's going to come with a lock. It may have a cable lock. You may be able to buy one like this here that you can put on it, secure the gun. But every gun, it's mandatory by state law now, has a trigger lock with it. Some of them actually has a key. You lock the gun itself. That you can lock the hammer. You can lock the cylinder where it cannot be turned. So if you leave it at home, you lock it and carry the key with you if they do gain access to it.
My name is Victoria Brattan, and I'm the audioproctologist over at Down East Hearing Care Associates in Rocky Mount. Today we're going to talk about how to save your hearing. Most of us take our hearing for granted, just as we have in the past of going out there to the rock concerts, shooting guns without ear protection, and also dealing with equipment without ear protection. So what we would like to talk about is how it affects your hearing and how you can protect yourself against the hazardous noises that causes trauma to the ears. What we work with is custom ear protection. So we look at the whole anatomy of the ear. So if you are a person who wears an instant product that doesn't fit very well in your ear, then a custom product most likely would be a better choice for you. What we do when we're looking at the anatomy of the ear, we look at the external part of the ear canal to make sure there's no deformities, any type of diseases in the ear that would be an issue for a patient before we actually do any type of impression on the ear. We look at the healthiness of the external part of the ear up to the eardrum. What we're looking to do is to give as much protection in the external part of the ear so the sound cannot travel through to the middle ear to the inner ear, which causes the damage at the inner ear. Your high-frequency hair cells are the most important hair cells when it comes to clarity and understanding people, that handles your consonants in speech. And unfortunately, when you expose yourself to noise, those are the first hair cells to go. So what we want to do is look at that area the most if you're shooting guns, if you're using any type of loud equipment over a period of time, anything over 84 dB, you're going to want to protect your ears. When you get into shooting guns, they can be somewhere up to 110 to 140. When you get into 140, that's a threshold of pain. It can actually make your ears bleed. I'm pretty sure you have experienced before, if you expose yourself to noise, acoustic reflex. Acoustic reflex is when sound travels down the ear canal and it actually hits the inner ear. The inner ear high-frequency hair cells that are your most important hair cells are the hair cells that tell the brain that sounds are too loud. If those hair cells are damaged, then the brain cannot be triggered that the noise is too loud. The two muscles that actually are connected to the middle ear bones that tighten and help protect the ear, which is called the acoustic reflex, can no longer happen. So if the acoustic reflex cannot happen, then more damage happens to the inner ear. You'll find your ears ringing. You'll find your ears feeling fatigued, you'll feel really tired after shooting or using the equipment over a period of time or listening to music over a period of time. I know there's times you may notice that you were listening to the television or you were listening to music, you turn that device off, later on you go back, turn it on, and it's extremely loud to you. Well, your ears become fatigued over time when you expose yourself to music or noise at high levels. So that's what I'm saying. We want to look at protecting the ears while you have an opportunity. Stay tuned for more information regarding gun safety and ear protection on Tarheel Outdoors.
Since 1997, Down East Off-Road has specialized in Jeep, truck, and SUV upfitting, from lift kits and tire and wheel packages to V8 engine swaps and police and public safety installations. We transform your ride. Down East Off-Road takes great pride in customized conversions, crafting beautiful, functional, and engaging work that delights and delivers results. Choose Down East Off-Road for all your performance needs. The most reputable and professional automotive services in the area, with unbeatable prices and excellent customer service. For all your upfitting needs, choose Down East Off-Road. Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun wants to be your go-to destination for top-shelf guns and finely crafted jewelry. Check out their large selection of handguns and rifles, as well as a large collection of mobile and home electronic devices. And don't forget their large collection of jewelry and watches, with a great staff to help you out. So visit them at 2522 Sunset Avenue in Rocky Mount, or call them at 252-443-1668. That's Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun on Sunset Avenue, across from Walgreens. Experience outdoor underwater adventure with Pamlico Divers. From spearfishing to fossil and wreck hunting, the thrill of Carolina diving brings underwater beauty, life, and history to your adventure. Whether you're just beginning or an avid diver, Pamlico Divers has the gear and expertise to make your dive a great adventure year-round. It's our passion and can be yours too. Prepare for your Carolina underwater adventure with the gear and expertise of Pamlico Divers.
Greenville Marine and Sports Center is your regional boat, motor, and trailer dealer with top industry models and parts. Enjoy North Carolina fishing with a new or used boat and take advantage of closeout pricing and great financing rates. And visit our expanded outdoor shop offering the best selection of fishing equipment, hunting gear, outdoor clothing, and much more. Visit Greenville Marine and Sports Center to make the most of your fishing and outdoor adventure.
Welcome back to Tarheel Outdoors. I thank y'all for being with us today. I'm going to show you a couple little things about handling a firearm safely. One of them, you'll notice a while ago I talked about the trigger locks. This happened to be a Smith & Wesson M&P 22. It comes with a lock like this here, where you can lock the gun. First of all, when you get the gun out, even though you see it's a brand new gun, you pull it back with a slide back. You keep it pointed in a safe direction away from everybody. You look down the barrel to make sure there's nothing in it. Because some of these guns here, if you've got the magazine out, the extractors here are real weak, and you may pull the slide back 2 or 3 times and the bullet actually will be stuck inside the barrel, especially with rim fires with 22s. We'll be shooting here a lot of times and they'll click, and you pull it back several times and the bullet will be stuck in the barrel. So that's very, very important to check this here. Now that you know the slide's back, magazine's out, now you know it's pointed at the gun is completely safe if you needed to hand it to somebody, or if you're going to walk in a gun shop or anywhere to have the gun worked on, or to somebody to look at it or appraise it. Please have the slide back and fingers out of the trigger. I always, like I said, keep it pointed in a safe direction. Keep your finger outside the trigger housing. I've taught law enforcement firearms, and this is the problem a lot of times. We'll be on the firing line and they get ready to ratchet and their finger will be in the trigger here. They'll pull bang and the gun will go off. Always have your finger outside here, clear it. Once you make sure the gun is safe and you're handling it, the eye protection, I Always keep this gun unloaded unless you got it in your home for protection or something like that and you're carrying the gun. If it's just laying around or you're storing it and you're not going to use it, put it back in the safe. Make sure you unload it. There's several different reasons. You don't want the magazine springs to get weak for keeping it in there. You don't want, if you've opened the safe and while you're doing something, somebody happened to pick the gun up, or if it's sitting in the corner or something, somebody picks the gun up thinking it's empty, then all of a sudden pulls the trigger.
My name is Victoria Bratan, and I'm the audioproctologist over at Down East Hearing Care Associates in Rocky Mount. We work with custom ear products. They're silicone based. I like them a lot. If you want to go with a solid piece, the solid piece is actually going to block the ear completely. You're going to get about 33 dB of noise reduction. If you want to have conversation with people while you're trying to protect your ears, you can go with filtering inside of your custom product. Will allow you to have conversation between 5 to 10 feet from you. So you'll still be able to enjoy your hobbies and protect your ears at the same time. If you're a person who likes to shoot, but you also want to communicate with others at distance, or either you run dogs or you still hunt, then you may want some ear protection that's electronic ear protection. That's going to allow you to amplify the sounds around you, but once you shoot your gun or expose yourself to the noise, the product will automatically start to soften to help protect you. When the noise goes away, the product opens itself back up. So if we were looking at a custom product with just a solid piece, then you'd be looking at something like this here. And we can go fashionable. We tell our patients, don't go naked. Ear molds can be fashionable. So we have fun colors for children. We have more solid colors for adults. I like the pink. Pink is one of my favorite. I have filters of mine, so when I do gun shows, or if I'm working with anyone in a noisy environment, I could put my ear protection in, and then I can protect myself as I'm communicating with others. I have extremely small ear canals, so I don't intend to go for the one-size-fit-all products. I do like custom products much better. If I'm dealing with electronic ear protection, we have custom products that are made for us, for our clients. This is a custom electronic ear protection, and it has a wheel on it that allows me to increase the volume as I feel fit. And then I can increase the volume when I shoot or I'm exposed to the loud noise. It'll compress immediately, and a lot of people like these. We work with two different types. We work with those with amplification that person does not have any hearing impairment, and we also work with amplification for those who do have hearing impairment. So you can have enhancing in the higher ends where you have your loss, so you get your directionality back. It makes it easier for you to communicate with people because the high frequencies are being given back to you. So if you have an instructor that's standing next to you telling you what you need to do and providing direction, you'll be able to follow through much easier. Visit our two locations at Down East Hearing Care Associates at Bienvenue Plaza in Rocky Mount or 64 Alternate in Nightdale. Back to you, Mickey.
Talking about the safes a while ago, we have a lot of people now that can carry firearms in their vehicles on educational properties if they've got a concealed carry, like teachers and stuff like that. It's very crucial that probably 95% of our teachers will have that lock in the vehicle. They will bolt it down so you cannot steal it. So if somebody breaks in a vehicle, if you go in a shopping mall, or if you go to a restaurant and there's alcohol involved, there's a sticker where you can't carry it. Now you leave your weapon inside the vehicle, it's locked up. So nobody, if they break in all of a sudden, they can't steal it. And you take and bolt these down. You see, these particular ones come pre-drilled, like for a template. And that way you can bolt them right down. And you can't get them out. They make them that goes under the front seat that when you hit it, the drawer opens completely out so you can reach down. There's a lot of different locks because vehicles is not safe now. If I knock the side glass out and reach in and hit the trunk latch, it's going to open. So something putting it in the trunk is not safe. But if you've got it in a safe locked down, that way some person don't get your firearm. If for some reason they do break in your home and steal your firearm, this comes up on a daily question: am I liable for what happens with that gun? No. If they break in your home, steal your firearms, then you're not liable. This is one suggestion I do try to tell everybody. You need to record the serial number. You need to take a photograph of that gun to show ownership, and that way if it gets stolen. I worked narcotics for 18 years, and I was on our tactical team for 28 years, served hundreds and hundreds of search warrants. We'd go in these drug houses, run serial numbers of the guns, and come back not stolen, knowing good and well the guns were stolen. And their way we have no proof of it. So it's very, very important to record all of this here. And that way, but to keep that gun pointed in a safe direction, the biggest thing here is to make sure that finger's out the trigger. If you're standing on the range and you're getting ready to shoot, you come out with this gun and come out until you get your sight acquired, then you put your finger in the trigger. Get ready to put it back. Now you keep that finger out of the trigger. Home invasions, or if you pick your gun up, you hear something. This has happened so many times. As you going through the house, you got your finger in the trigger. And I tell everybody in my classes, do one person only, because adrenaline takes over and your finger will react before your brain can tell it to stop. If a loved one pops out, you'll pull the trigger. If somebody has just shot at you and disappeared, we've had officers to shoot other officers. We've had them to shoot unarmed people for the simple fact they'd be walking, the finger being the trigger, one stop, and they hear a loud bang. Everybody gets excited, they see something and open fire on it. Same thing happens in a home. If you keep that finger out the trigger, that way it don't go off until you're ready. If you stump your toe, if you bump or hit a coffee table, instant pain for your shin, boom, you're liable to pull the trigger. You're liable to shoot yourself. But it's important to keep that finger on this here. If you'll watch a lot of news footage, the guys moving, you'll see them with that finger, just like this right here. And it's just something that's got to try. This here is nothing but muscle memory. And being safe with a firearm is muscle memory. You do the same thing every day. It's just like you getting in your car driving, but it's the same thing. The problem we have is a lot of people picks up a gun, they'll load it, go shoot it one time, put it up, and they forget everything about it. They forget where the safeties are. They don't know if it's on safe or not. They don't know what kind of ammunition it shoots. Each gun, and that's very, very crucial to the look on the gun. It will have what caliber it is. This one here has 22, and it'll have over here 22 LR. That means long rifle. That's the only round this gun will shoot. Thank you for watching Tarheel Outdoors today. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at 252-236-8730. I teach firearms classes, basic, teach advanced, teach concealed carry, but the biggest thing, if you have any questions about firearms or anything, feel free to contact me and I'll be glad to help you again at 252-236-8730. Thank you all so much.
Since 1997, Down East Off-Road has specialized in Jeep, truck, and SUV upfitting, from lift kits and tire and wheel packages to V8 engine swaps and police and public safety installations. We transform your ride. Down East Off-Road takes great pride in customized conversions, crafting beautiful, functional, and engaging work that delights and delivers results. Choose Down East Off-Road for all your performance needs. The most reputable and professional automotive services in the area, with unbeatable prices and excellent customer service. For all your upfitting needs, choose Down East Off-Road. Carolina Jewelry Pawn & Gun wants to be your go-to destination for top-shelf guns and finely crafted jewelry. Check out their large selection of handguns and rifles, as well as a large collection of mobile and home electronic devices. And don't forget their large collection of jewelry and watches, with a great staff to help you out. So visit them at 2522 Sunset Avenue in Rocky Mount, or call them at 252-443-1668. That's Carolina Jewelry Pawn & Gun on Sunset Avenue, across from Walgreens. Experience outdoor underwater adventure with Pamlico Divers. From spearfishing to fossil and wreck hunting, the thrill of Carolina diving brings underwater beauty, life, and history to your adventure. Whether you're just beginning or an avid diver, Pamlico Divers has the gear and expertise to make your dive a great adventure year-round. It's our passion and can be yours too. Prepare for your Carolina underwater adventure with the gear and expertise of Pamlico Divers.
Greenville Marine and Sports Center is your regional boat, motor, and trailer dealer with top industry models and parts. Enjoy North Carolina fishing with a new or used boat and take advantage of closeout pricing and great financing rates. And visit our expanded outdoor shop offering the best selection of fishing equipment, hunting gear, outdoor clothing, and much more. Visit Greenville Marine and Sports Center to make the most of your fishing and outdoor adventure.